What's up, man? Ready to rock this thing?
Let's do it.
All right. Ho, ho, ho. In this episode of the Church Photographers Podcast, it was late in the evening. All through the house, not a creature was stirring except for the church communications director because it's almost Christmas and who needs sleep anyway? In this episode, everything you need to run your church photography team for your Christmas services so you can get back to planning everything else you have to do. Volunteer signups, shot lists, photo booths, we'll cover it all. But first, I'm Rob Lauder.
I'm Connor Strickland, and this is the Church Photographers Podcast.
Hey, Connor.
How's it going, Rob?
I'm good. Do you know the names of the 8 of Santa's reindeer?
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen.
But do you recall?
The most famous reindeer of them all?
Yeah, who is he?
Rudolph?
But who's the 10th reindeer?
I don't know.
Olive.
Olive,
the other reindeer. You used to laugh and call him names. All right, in this episode, we lay our dignity on the line, and we are here to make this entertaining for you and have some fun while we're at it. But hey, it is Christmas time. We are here in the Christmas spirit. If you're not watching on video, you're missing out on a spectacle right now.
You definitely are.
Hop on over to the Church Photographers YouTube channel or churchphotographers.com to see what you're missing. But hey, man, Christmas time is almost here. We got 2 weeks before Christmas time. And our job is to help these kind folks get ready for Christmas service photography and everything that comes along with that. So we're going to talk about volunteers. We're going to talk about shot lists. And we're going to talk about photo booths because that's obviously on everybody's mind.
Yep.
And if you stick around to the end of this episode, we've got a very, very exciting announcement about something that's happening today and for the next 12 days. Hint, hint, 12 days of Christmas. We're going to be giving stuff away for the next 12 days.
We sure are.
But you need to listen to figure out how to do that. We're going to get to all that and more. Let's hear from some friends of ours first, and then we will dive into the content. Is it just me, or is it getting toasty in here?
Man, it is hot.
Indeed, and it's not just this fire over here. It's these
Wonderful.
amazing costumes we got for you, too. So, again, hit up that Church Photographers YouTube channel to see what you're missing. Anyway, hey, we're going to talk about getting volunteers signed up for Christmas services because, you know, that's the number one thing on my plate right now.
Yep.
As you know, I lead a photography team at our church. We're doing Christmas services a little different this year, so we got some special communication needs happening. It's not just the, hey, here's how we do things, and this is the playbook that we've run year after year, but we've got, a whole new team that we launched on Easter.
Much larger.
What's that?
Much larger team.
Much larger team. Plus, we've got, rather than one location, we're doing services in 4 locations this year. And so we got a bunch to communicate. So I want to talk about, just real quickly, some tips, some ideas, walk through what we're doing to make that happen. And then that way you can have some tips and ideas on how to get your photography team involved with your Christmas services. And to my hope is that I will eliminate as much confusion as possible, so that our team shows up at the right place, they do the right thing, and we get the images and the content that we need. And so one thing that we're doing this year, if you were at the Church Photographer Summit and you stuck around to the very last session, which was one of the best sessions of the whole thing in my opinion, Clark Campbell from Reverb went through his event photography and event media coverage plan. Yep. And he does this full-time as his agency with Reverb. They go to conferences, they cover events, they work with special organizations to amplify on social media the live events that are already happening. And so we took his framework, and we're going to try to implement that in our church this year. And so what that looks like is rather than just having a photography team out there capturing photos, delivering them to us 3 to 4 days later, and by that time I was like, all right, this thing is kind of lost steam, and Christmas photos don't really go in the middle of the year. We want to make as big a deal of that event as we can, and use that content as much as we can while it's timely, while it's relevant. And so the first thing we need to do though is get volunteers signed up.
Yep.
And so what we did is my first step in doing that is to figure out availability. Our team, we allow photographers to just kind of like sign up for what they want to sign up for. I don't like mandate signups often.
Yeah.
I did in my monthly update email to our team this month say, hey, this is an all hands on deck event. So if you're in town, please plan to shoot.
Yep.
And so the very first thing I need to know if I'm going to schedule anybody is when they're available.
Yeah.
And so we threw together a spreadsheet. We're looking at when are our volunteers available. And then I could say, okay, you're available for these 3 services, but somebody else is available here, and start to assign that out. I also opened a special offer because one of the things that we're going to do kind of along the lines of this event media capture thing that we're trying out is we wanted to integrate our photography team with our video team and our social media team into a digital experience team in 2020. And so I want to start to put some soft feelers out there for some volunteers who would be interested in that like higher level A-team kind of content creation. You keep getting distracted because you're looking over here at our output and you see how ridiculous we
look.
And
I see that we are dressed up like Rudolph and an elf with a lovely fire.
Indeed. So if you're not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube. But we're trying to like seed this initial team. And so what I did is in that email as well said, hey, we're going to try this thing out. If you are interested in being part of this broader, more in-depth, involved activity, let me know and plan to serve on site at this service with me, with our social media manager. And we're going to really pilot this thing. So I'm excited about what we're going to produce out of that. Check out Summit Church on Facebook, on Instagram, and elsewhere, and to see if we can actually execute this thing. And if we do, I will be thrilled because we'll do this for future events as well. So first thing, we put out a spreadsheet. You could do like a doodle poll if you're more simple, but we had both like 4 service times across 3 different locations, plus a Spanish-speaking campus, so it's kind of more complicated. And so first thing, find out when your volunteers are available, because that will help you schedule everything out. But then if you have more than enough volunteers to go around, which is a good problem to have, I would encourage you to assign volunteers not just to shoot a service and let them go run rampant, but to ensure that you have everything that you need to have captured, assign individual photographers to different areas as well. And so it could be like, hey, for our first service, Bob, you're covering lobby, Sue, you're covering auditorium, and then the second service you switch. Or if you know your photographer's strengths, so I know some of our photographers are better in a worship setting. Some of our photographers are better in a like candid lobby shot setting. Some will get portraits all day long. You can assign according to their strengths as well. So that's like just what I've been thinking about in terms of getting volunteers signed up and making sure that we have all the coverage that we need. Man, we've talked about shot lists plenty of times. So let's talk about shot lists. And where can we start with a shot list?
Well, first off, you can get a shot list at churchphotographers.com/freebies.
Indeed.
We have a shot list that is great for almost any service. And especially for something like the Christmas service. You will notice as I'm talking that you will hear bells ringing because I have bells all over my outfit right now. But yeah, that is a great place to start. So you have volunteers, they signed up, you've assigned them, okay, you're responsible for the lobby, for greeting people, or for in the worship center. Okay, well now you can actually equip them even further by giving them a shot list of, okay, Bob, you're in the lobby, you're responsible for getting people walking in the door, interacting, getting bulletins, or whatever your service has. So that is a great place to get it. So once again, we have the ultimate service shot list. That's a tongue twister at churchphotographers.com/freebies.
Yeah, I want to say one thing to that too. Your shot list, that shot list is a generic shot list. You'll need to build that out into something more specific for your Christmas services.
For sure.
Because they're likely going to be different. It's not just an average weekend. But that said, the unique types of shots that you're going to be asking your photographers to cover need to come out of the story that you want to be telling about your Christmas services. And we'll talk about that here when we get into the next section of this podcast. But as you're thinking through shot list, be thinking through like, hey, you're not just covering these because you want to get photos of them, but because those photos tell a certain story, and be thinking about story as you go through.
Yeah, and another thing is that in your shot list, build it out even more than just the shots. Get it whenever you want. Give people a run of the service as well, so that they can actually know, okay, I need to get these shots, and these are the best times to get it at these times, at this location on the campus or in your worship center. You had this happen to you just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I shot a Christmas service at a nearby university. They had a beautiful chapel. They had a choir service with 4 different choirs and soloists and everything. And if I was just thrown into that, because I'm coming in from the outside shooting this event, if I were just thrown into that, I would have no idea what was going on. But the guy who was directing the service took me aside. He gave me the program. He had handwritten notes throughout the program of hey, there's going to be a soloist on stage at this point. There's going to be a pianist at this point. There's going to be choirs at this point. Somebody speaking here, somebody speaking on the other side. So I knew in advance for each portion of the service where I needed to stand and what I needed to capture. And because of that, I was able to capture pretty much 100% of what they needed to cover. And then some on top of that. And so if you're going to really equip your photographers to shoot a service such as Christmas service, give them that rundown. Annotate all the different areas that they will need to be shooting. Annotate hey, if something special is happening here. Oh, hey, light's going to be a little crazy here, so watch out for that. As much detail as you can give them, it's going to equip them to get better images for you. So I would encourage that not only that shot list, but have that run of service. Make sure that everybody knows their part, because really your photographers are a part of the service too. They need to be choreographed just like the rest of the stuff going on stage.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's generic shot list ideas, but I want to also talk about that the media coverage idea that I was just talking about, because what do we do with all these images? I know last year my top 10 for our Christmas services was really more like a top 100. I shot 6 services. I shot the dress rehearsal. I had probably 8,000 frames from the 3 days of our services. And by the end of it, I got pretty good because I knew where all the different things were happening. But still, how do you narrow all that stuff down? And so I had a ton of images. I did narrow down a top 10, which I cheated and made a top 12 or something like that. The challenge, though, is that images from a specific event like Christmas aren't as versatile through the rest of the year. And so we're making a big deal of this. In our church, our Christmas services are the opportunity for our church to come together, but then also to invite the one person that they've been praying for to come to Christ. And so we want to make sure that it's a big deal that we're honoring the people who are coming, because they might not come to church any other time of year except for Easter and Christmas, and that's okay because that's where we're meeting them where they're at. But because it's so unique, because it's such a big deal, it doesn't represent your typical worship services. And really it's okay, well, what do we do with this other than a quick recap and then maybe use it to promote the same event next year? And so the solution here is to find ways to get as much mileage out of these photos now, particularly because we're saying, hey, photographers, this is a big deal. This is all hands on deck. You don't want them to go cover that event and then just leave their images to fester away in a Dropbox somewhere. So like I mentioned earlier, the first thing that you want to do is decide what story you want to tell, and then to train your photographers to tell that story. And so for this year, this is the first time in a long time that we've done services the way that we're doing them, at our church building rather in a big community center or something. It's the first time in a long time that we're doing local services rather than regional. So regional, everybody comes to one place. This we're doing 3 of our campuses, and you kind of come to the campuses closest to you. And so there's going to be a story within that to tell. Hey, our church is growing and it's evolving and it's changing, and look how we still celebrate the birth of Jesus together. But then also create content that reinforces or tells that story. And when I say create content, I don't just mean take photos. Right. So if you go and you watch Clark's Reverb kind of pep talk on how he does all this with his team, you see that they take all this content and they just repurpose it 12 different ways, sideways. When we first launched our pastor's podcast, he had this analogy that he kept coming back to, and that's the analogy of the carrot farmer. And it goes kind of like this. It's there's a carrot farmer, and this in this region there's 5 or 10 other carrot farmers, but this carrot farmer, he's making bank, and all the other carrot farmers what are you doing? We're growing our carrots, we're selling our carrots just like you. Why are you so successful? And when you look at his operation, not only is he growing and selling carrots, but then he's repurposing those carrots. He's repurposing them into carrot sticks into carrot soup, into carrot discs, into crinkle cut carrots, and then taking all the derivatives of the carrot and producing all these different things that meet different needs and go into different applications. So be the carrot farmer. Take your content, one single piece of content, like even just the average weekend sermon, can be broken up into 5 or 10 sermon clips. It can be broken into audio, it can be broken into video, it can go on Facebook, YouTube, stories, etc. You can get photos out of it, you can get blog posts out of it. I'm going to look up real quick. So our friend Adam McLaughlin, shout out to Adam, just recently launched sermonclipper.com, where he takes your sermon and does all of this for you for one flat fee. And so check out sermonclipper.com. He'll help you out there. But for special events like Christmas, you want to be thinking about real time. How can you take all of that content and chop it up? And so it doesn't just need to be photo after photo after photo. Use like an Instagram story app to make like, photo grid or something like that. Add animations, add filters, add some short form video. We just invested in a couple of smartphone gimbals for like $150 a piece that we're going to use on Christmas. 2 of them, with phones. Phones can capture good video these days too. So let's do some stories. Let's get a story of people arriving to church, because that tells part of that story. Let's get the story of people like worshiping in all the different locations and mash them up into like one sequential Instagram story or something like that. So be the carrot farmer, repurpose your content, and find different ways to use that. Here's some ways to do that. One, we're going to be encouraging near real-time content production during this event. So it's going to be me, it's going to be our social media manager, our photo team, doing both photos and our that A team that we're recruiting. They're going to do some light video work on their phones or whatnot, and then it's going to be like all hands on deck. Let's get this to me as the producer as quickly as possible, and then I'll chop it up. I'll get it to our social media manager, and she can get it out there. And we're just keeping that storyline in mind the whole time. So just this week we sat down, we sketched out like what's the big picture story, what are the what's the narrative arc that we can tell throughout the day and before and after this event, and then what content supports that story. Before you can do like a time lapse of setup. We've done that in the past. That's a good piece of content that you might be missing. Get the behind the scenes content, like hey, your worship team auditioning, your worship team praying. Before, one thing that we always do before our Christmas services is we have the full team huddle up, and so you can see like some of my most powerful images are our pastor, our entire team in the the green room, just like 50 people huddled together, hands in praying, and that tells a story too. That that's something that your congregation wouldn't ordinarily be able to see. Highlight volunteers, because hey, look, a large scale event like this takes a ton of volunteers.
More than just photographers.
Indeed, so it's like you got greeters, you've got seaters, you've got people running concessions, all those other things, kids, childcare, all that other stuff. So highlight all that before, during, and after. Do a recap after. I think that's like a low hanging fruit. Everybody's like, we'll recap these. Do a volunteer thank you post. So like, hey, thank you for all the volunteers that came out. Celebrate wins. So if you, one of the things that we do as part of our Christmas services is we take up an offering, and we want to be sensitive, because it's like, these are people who are coming into church for the very first time. It's not like, oh, hey, give to our church now. We take up an offering and we give it all away to some community organization. And so, celebrate that win. That's a monetary goal. It's like, hey, we were able to bless our community through this event. Celebrate the wins of the number of people who profess faith in Christ as a result of hearing the service. And then look for ways to use like engagement within Instagram stories. Like if you open Instagram right now and you create a new story, I'll try to do this live here. So you got to create a new story, and then you hit this create tab. Like you've got multiple post formats. So like, top 5 picks, give me your, mentions, give me a poll, give me a question, give me a countdown, give me a this or that result, quiz. All of these things are creative pieces of content that you can create out of before, during, and after your event that will engage your people. Take it beyond the photo and use that photo for a purpose, and that's to engage people. And then the pro tip is that Instagram, anytime a social network releases features like that, it's because they want people to use them.
Yeah.
And so they will prioritize that stuff in the newsfeed.
Yep.
So if you use that, you'll be in good shape.
For sure.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about the thing that's obviously on everybody's mind, photo booths. Hey, Connor.
How's it going, Rob?
It's going good.
Do you have another joke for us?
What did Santa's helper order at Olive Garden?
I'm assuming it's an elf joke.
Alfredo. All right. I got a couple more. We can keep going.
Let's do one more.
All right. This one's a nerdy one. Ready? What's another name for Santa's helpers? It's a grammar joke.
Well, I'm awful at grammar.
Subordinate clauses.
Oh, my.
Boom. All right, we really need to rein.
That was a good one.
We need to rein in the puns here.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, photo booth. We'll spare you that.
Yep. Please.
Again, if you're not watching on YouTube, churchphotographers.com, hit our YouTube link and see what
You'll know why we're laughing and what all these bells are.
All right, here we go. Photo booths, because hey, pretty much every church does a photo booth around special events.
Yep.
I mean, I'd guess like 50% of you are probably planning a photo booth.
Yep.
And
if
you're
not more than that.
If you're not, could be an opportunity. The reason that I think photo booths are so popular is because they, like it's a special event and it lets people organically create their own content.
Yep.
Right. So it's like, oh, hey, we're here. We're going to share and we're going to
see all our friends or our small group or all of our neighbors or whatever.
Yeah, I've read some article at some point, not too long ago about the phenomenon of the church photo booth and how it's like vanity and whatnot. I can kind of see that, but at the same time, I feel like, let's let people have fun.
Yep, for sure.
At this point. So if you're going to do a photo booth, here's how you do it. If you're not going to do a photo booth, skip ahead about 15 or 20 minutes, and we're going to tell you how to get a bunch of free stuff. So, stick with us. Photo booth basics. What do we need?
You need a set, which includes backdrop, lights, props, etc. You need a way to capture images, and then you need a way to deliver those images.
Yeah, so I think for me, like I'm a process guy. I don't like to put together sets. I'm like, I'll let that like our events team handle that. Yep. Y'all go figure out like
how to make it look pretty.
This and make it pretty.
Yep.
I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna rock your event. I'm gonna take photos. I'm gonna make it look good. Y'all make the backdrop look good. But so we actually asked some of our friends over at the Church Photography Team Facebook group. What are your go-to tips for photo booths around Christmas? And so here's some of the crowdsourced feedback we got. Our friend Dylan Sherlock says, keep it simple. Overcomplicating it can look pretty to the eye, but makes it hard to frame shots when you can have groups of anywhere from 2 to 20 people. I've shot like Mother's Day portraits before, and like you can have a 15-foot background that's 10 feet tall, and all of a sudden you get like that huge family.
Yep.
It's like, well, that background looks
really
small now. Or it's like you got the one person and they're standing in the front of this massive wall.
Yep.
And so keep it simple. Overcomplicating it can make it difficult there. What are some options? Like Brendan's comment, I think, was really good.
Yeah, so Brendan Ringer says, for constructing the photo booth, we typically use just pipe and drape and a printed backdrop. And super simple pipe and drape. Most churches, or a lot of churches at least, have those laying around for different events or occasions. Or go online and you can get a printed backdrop with your church logo on it or something for the holidays. So you want to touch on the staff, kind of what just happened at the summit?
Yeah, so we just had our staff Christmas party last week, and we did a photo booth for our Christmas party. We brought in one of our volunteers, had a professional light set up and everything. But
did you show up as a reindeer?
I did not. I considered it, but I figured that once is enough. So get it while you got it, friends. But all we did was we did like barrel wall, and then we just did some of that like tinsel kind of shimmery backdrop.
Yep.
Added a few props and kept it like super simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge win. You can get like a ton of Christmas decor and whatnot from the dollar store.
Yep.
Anytime I shoot product photography for Christmas, and I shoot, we'll do like post shoots and stuff. Just go to the Dollar Tree, get a bunch of like fake pine branches and whatnot. It looks pretty good. It's dirt cheap. Yeah. And you can go get a long way out of that without breaking the bank.
Yeah,
so
I just did a big product shoot like 2 weeks ago and got everything I needed for $7. And I'm like, well, if you sell one of these products, you have tripled the
Right.
amount of money that I had to spend in order to make this happen.
Indeed. So that's the set. Props, man. Props are often what make or break a photo booth.
They are.
Yeah, you can just stand there and
If
be
you
like,
just show up with a backdrop and you're just awkwardly supposed to stand there,
"Hey, guys,
it
hey."
makes everyone feel awkward.
Yep. So the number one thing that you'll learn if you're doing like post shoots, like portraiture or just, high school student, portraits, people don't know what to do with their hands.
No.
You put a prop in their hands, they'll naturally just do whatever.
Yep.
So what are a couple options here for props?
So the first one is pop signs. These are some of the biggest ones. I know this, we use them at the summit all the time. Churches, events, concerts, everyone is using pop signs. You can go online, you can get them
What is a pop
custom
sign?
made. So pop sign is literally just something that you can just hold up that really just pops out of the image, out of the photo, stands between the person and the backdrop, just something other than fake glasses or something like that.
Yeah, I think like Pop Signs is like it's the Kleenex is the name brand of the tissue. And so I think popsigns.co is the website that really made it popular.
Yeah.
But our friend Paul Fleming over at churchinc.com,
great
check him
stuff.
out. He's a friend of ours. He's been a supporter of us for a long time, and he can hook you up with all the printing needs that you want: backdrops, pop signs, whole 9 yards. Also, I was just browsing on Amazon earlier today, and I was like, Christmas photo booth, and like dozens and dozens and dozens of like prop kits showed up with like all the they'll just ship you a whole box of stuff. You just open it up, you dump it out, you let them go to town. You get it Amazon Prime just here in 2 days, so if we're like 2 weeks out from Christmas, you still got time. But that could be a simple addition to your prop bag. It'd be more of that generic Christmassy stuff, but it's fun stuff for people to put in their hands and have fun with, and
they can just throw it away afterwards.
Indeed. And then also here, check the dollar store. Like your dollar store's got everything. You can't go wrong with dollar store. This is going to sound like super nerdy, but my favorite part about photo booths is the lighting.
You might be one of the few.
I'm a lighting nerd. A couple of lighting options for you. We typically will do continuous lighting, so we got some of those CFL, continuous lighting kits. They hold like 5 bulbs. You can turn them on and off. You can brighter, dimmer, what have you. You can get like dirt cheap lighting on Amazon. It's not going to be the greatest quality, but I'm all for some newer brand stuff. It's like the bargain bin photo brand on Amazon, but you can get decent stuff like dirt cheap. So I got like my Octabox is a 48-inch Octabox, paid like $30 for it. My stands are all newer. My backdrops for my portraiture are all newer. It's like it's all super cheap. So I did some pricing earlier. 2 CFL lights with soft boxes, $70. You want 2 LED panels, it's $130. Dirt cheap.
Well worth it.
Yeah, I actually just got yesterday. I ordered 2 Clar brand LED panels. No idea their reputation. I'm going to check them out, but they're like $50 a pop. On Adorama for Cyber Monday week, which that makes no sense.
Too late.
Bear with me. And so I'm going to try those out at our photo booth as well and see how they do. But then if you want to go like super fancy,
big time,
you want to do it like the filet mignon of the photo booth. Go with either speed lights or strobes, and go like that pro level. So I love Cactus brand stuff. I've pitched it here on the podcast before. They're not a sponsor. They haven't hooked us up with anything. I've pitched them. Hopefully they'll come around and you guys can get some Cactus stuff as well. But I love Cactus. Cactus is like they offer speed lights with triggers built in, or the receivers built in. They sell an optional trigger that you can just mount to the top of your camera, change all your, you get up to 4 channels. I don't know how many speed lights per channel. You can do power, zoom, all remotely from your camera body through the transmitter. And Cactus is cross-brand too, so it will work with any brand of camera, any brand of flash, puts it all together. Check them out.
Big time.
I don't remember their website, but look for Cactus Speedlight on Google. It'll hook you up. And then Brendan Ringer, in his comments within the Facebook group, mentioned that he uses Wescott Gear, and they produce great stuff as well.
Yep.
So That's the
setup.
Now we got to talk about capturing images, because this is where things can get haywire.
Yes. Good ways to do it, and there's bad ways.
There's good ways to do it. There's bad ways to do it. I would say none of these answers are wrong, but each of these are going to come with a specific set of caveats that like you need to know how you're set up and what you're equipped for, and what you're prepared to handle when you're dealing with photo booths. Because when you're dealing with photo booths, you can get in a lot of trouble and a lot of work in a hurry if you're not careful. And so here's a couple different options for photo booth photo capture. Number one, the simplest. Their camera, they capture. Tell us about it. How does this work?
Yeah, so this one is zero work on your part. It is almost as if they can take an selfie. So rather than you providing a photographer for the photo booth, they come and you just stage a person there, a volunteer, who will take photos using their iPhone.
We'll get there in a second. This is their camera they capture.
Oh yes, so you don't even. Sorry, that is my fault. Yeah. You don't even have someone there. They just show up with their own camera and they take a selfie or an elfie. Yeah. Just using all the props and the backgrounds that you have set up.
Right. So upsides of this are, one, you don't have to have the volunteer.
Yep.
Downsides is that like nobody knows how to take their own photo.
Nope.
I'm going to take one right now. Put it on our story.
I'm glad you got a selfie rather than
elfie. Oh yeah, you'll get the elfie later. If you don't know what we're talking about, check us out on YouTube and see what you're missing right now. But yeah, so like people, like particularly if like your family, well, who's gonna stand out and take the photo? You know, who's gonna be out of the photo, and you know, we're gonna swap grandma out with like cousin Timmy. And what's gonna happen? So upside, no work.
Yeah.
Downside, they're kind of stuck and left on their own, and you don't want to do that. So another option is their camera you capture.
Yeah. So this is the one I was getting confused with. So this one is you provide support, composition of the shots. You stand there with their camera and you take the photo. So this is their camera, you capture. So this is a great way so that you don't leave out cousin Timmy or grandma out of the photo. You stand there, they provide you with the camera, and then you take the photos, you hand the camera back to them, and then you let them go on their merry way.
Yeah, and they get it instantly, no waiting. They get it on their phone. Like, sure,
most of them are going to go ahead and post it immediately.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a great way to do almost real-time content creation.
Indeed. And you don't have to deal with delivery either, so you don't have to deliver those.
We'll get to that one.
This is my go-to option at this point. We've tried the next level up, and it's chaos. If y'all do this next one, more power to you. I ain't doing that again anytime soon. So here's the next one. Your camera, you or your volunteers capture. So we can show up with a DSLR. We can show up with our fancy lights. We get super nice, high quality, professional images. We did this at our Christmas services last year, and you know what happened? 9 out of 10 people said, "Can you just take it with my phone? Or can you take it with my phone?" They don't want. And because they want it right then. They want to go on Instagram. They want to share it because this is the selfie generation.
They don't want to wait 4 days until December 28th to post their Christmas photo.
Right. So, again, pro here is that you're getting good quality, like the best quality images, but it's the most work and the most overhead. If I do go this route, so I've done some Mother's Day portraits for some friends of mine like this. I'll always tether straight into my laptop. And so we've got like continuous lighting set up. We got a backdrop. We got people lined up in a queue, ready to go. You also need a way to get the images to the people as well. And so that could be either throw them in a Dropbox and let them find their own, or like if you're going to go the extra mile here, the churches I've worked with that do it this way, they'll have a whiteboard. They'll write name, email address. You'll get a photo of the whiteboard, and then they'll come through, give the photo to the family. After you edit, you can send it off.
Still more work, but that is the most efficient way to do that.
And interestingly enough, when we cover red carpet events, when I do that for music work, that's how they do it too. So you can give them the red carpet experience. But again, that's a ton of work.
A lot of dedication.
A lot of dedication needed. And I'm really pessimistic about how many people actually download their images. So if you've done this and you've like pulled those stats, I would love to see like how many actual downloads do you get off of that. Blow us away. Prove me wrong. I am always open and willing to be proven wrong. One other option that kind of goes with any of these options, but works best with their camera you capture option is Photobox or similar. We were just talking about Photobox on our leadership cohort call this morning. So what Photobox is like it's a network enabled printer that monitors Instagram for your hashtag, and then when somebody posts an image with your hashtag, so make sure you make it unique.
Yeah.
We had a one event that was SWC 2019, Summit Women's Conference 2019. Happened to be the Star Wars conference in Chicago at the exact same time.
Printing a ton of photos.
With the same hashtag. We did not do Photobox, but if we had, we'd have a bunch of Star Wars nerds up in our Summit Women's Conference photos. So make a unique hashtag, but then anytime somebody puts your hashtag in, shares a photo to Instagram, it's printed out there with their photo and then kind of like a frame that you design around it. Cool little memento. They can be pretty pricey. We've priced them for ourselves before, and like doing 10 campuses was absolutely out of the question for us. You can technically find some software to hack it together. I thought that was more trouble than it was worth too. But I've seen this thing at like conferences we've been to, like that church conference I did a couple years ago, and man, like those social media nerds blew it up. When I say those social media nerds, I mean I'm one of you too. So that's not pejorative, that's loving. You can also get like Photobooth kits off of Amazon or from some providers that basically it's like you put a tablet in this kiosk, you put a DSLR in there, it all comes self-contained. It has like a ring light, and then they can just like see themselves, and a couple grand. So if it's something you're going to do all the time, that can be an option as well. But man, if you go your camera, your people capture, delivery, oh Lord. Good luck if you go this route. Because here's what you need to do. You need to get those images to those people. Like we said, a couple options. You can dump them in one place and let them go find them, or you can be the concierge and send them their way. Depends on what volume you're talking about. If it's like a couple hundred photos, that's one thing. If you're talking about like tens of thousands of people, that's
a lot of emails.
So if you're going to go the email them yourself route, just make sure you capture the email address. Use the whiteboard technique that we just mentioned. But if you're going to go the repository route, one of the folks that had commented earlier, Dylan, said that what he does is he gets his URL in advance, so he knows where they're going to be, and that could be like a short link or a redirect or something too, and say, hey, go to yourchurch.com/Christmas photos to your photos. That then redirects to a gallery of some sort, and they can go in there, so that you can give them that card. And this printed out when the photo is taken. Say like after this date, here's when they're going to be there, and they have very clear instructions on what to do. One idea that I've seen in a couple places, I think Dylan mentioned this, as well as our friend Ryan Wakefield over at Church Marketing University has this recommendation as well, is to consider password protecting or capturing an email address for those images. I'm kind of like weird about this. I'm like, I could go both ways, because like I'm all for list building, but it feels a little icky to me to be like, hey, we're going to do this service for you. We're going to give you this nice photo.
Then sign up for a newsletter.
You can sign up for a newsletter, and we're going to spam you. So if you're going to go that route, like keep it tasteful. Do like one email. Thanks so much for coming. We hope you enjoyed your photo. Keep it relevant to that photo that you've captured. By the way, if you want to come to our church, here are the details. And then don't nag them any further. So we talked about volunteer scheduling. We talked about what to do with all those images. We talked about what we're going to try in terms of media and what we've been inspired to do from Clark at Reverb. We've talked about photo booths. Now to the juicy bits. Now to the thing everybody's waiting for. It is starting today, if you're listening on the day that we publish this, 12 Days of Christmas.
Church Photographers, 12 Days of Christmas Extravaganza.
Extravaganza. Starting off.
Once again, if you're not watching the video, you have no clue what all this is going on right now.
Churchphotographers.com, YouTube. Check us out.
Please.
But hey, here's what's going on with this 12 Days of Christmas, Church Photographers Christmas Extravaganza. We're going to be giving stuff away every single day.
For the next 12 days.
12 days in a row. And like you saw our summit giveaway, like if you were on the summit,
it real stuff.
Wasn't just like, hey, here's a free PDF,
or like, hey, you get a friend request from me or Rob.
Right? No virtual high fives. We got some of our vendors on board, and they got stuff for you that you're gonna like. That's actual physical products. So here's a couple things we're doing. There is some virtual stuff in here too, like our Church Photographers courses, which we are currently in a pre-order for, and we're going to be shooting these out early next year in January. 4 courses right off the bat. How to lead a church photography team. DSLR fundamentals for church photographers, and that's not just generic. Here's how you use your camera.
Yep.
This is like here's
Set it
how
up for this
in
purpose.
a church
Yep.
setting what you need to do because you've told us you need that information. Conquering terrible light. We're going to do a full course on that as
Yep.
well because again you've told us you need that, and everybody's told us they need that. You need that. I need that. And then finally, we're also got the summit content in our course library as well.
Yep.
So if you enter to win today, and we'll tell you how to enter in just a moment, you can get a lifetime subscription to churchphotographers.com courses. That's a $997 value.
Yep.
Absolutely free. You'll get instant access to the Church Photographer Summit,
Yep.
and as soon as that content's released, you get all of our courses that we make in Q1
Huge.
2020 and everything we make from here on out. All of our special members only content, like our Church Photographers Roadshow that is coming up in 2020.
Yep.
All of that content yours if you win. If you want to order, or if you want to win, if you want to pre-order, you can do that too.
Yep.
If you want to win this today, though, on Tuesday when this episode came out, jump on over to our Instagram account. All of these giveaways are happening at Church Photographers on Instagram. Can't get them anywhere else. Not on Facebook, not on YouTube, not on Facebook groups. All happening on our Instagram account. All you need to do is jump over there, find details, and enter to win. But besides our courses, so today we're giving away the courses. Tomorrow we've got, again, if you're listening to this, we got a $50 gift card for LumeCube, which are some friends of ours. They gave away a product at our summit, and it's amazing, like
It's
on
incredible
and off camera lighting.
Yep.
I'm ordering some for myself. They come in kits, so you can do gels, you can do variable brightness, you can do diffusion, and it's like this tiny little cube.
Yeah, smaller than a GoPro.
Yeah, so get one of those. $50 gift card coming up tomorrow. Later this week, Phil Wathen, one of our contributors, is hooking us up with a preset pack. So his entire library of presets that he's created 2 years in a row. You'll get those Lightroom presets. Our friends Fluoro jumping in as well. We will give away the Church Photographer Summit content, Magmod, which make incredible speedlight modifiers and speedlight kits. They've got a whole kit that they are pitching into this giveaway.
Yep.
We got Starbucks gift card coming up. About that Magmod giveaway, though, we're going to be giving that away during our live stream Q&A.
A week from today?
Next week. So if you're listening to this when it comes out, 1 week from today, we're going to be doing a live stream Q&A.
You might see us in outfits.
Maybe.
We'll
see. We'll see if I can get the outfit together. It's funny, though, because at the beginning of this thing, you're like hanging your head in shame, and now you're pitching
we have
the
people
outfits.
walking by the studio right now, and we're putting a smile on their faces.
Indeed.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and then we got a bunch of other stuff coming up in this giveaway, too. So 12 Days of Christmas, Church Photographers Christmas Extravaganza, over on our Instagram, churchphotographers.com. Don't miss out. That's the only place you can get it. You can enter every day. You can win all the stuff. So go over there and do that. We'll let you know how to submit questions for that live stream as well. Keep an eye on our Instagram. We'll probably do some stories there as well as our Facebook page. And then, as always, if you have any way or anything you want to share with us, podcast at churchphotographers.com. Send it our way. Comments, questions, concerns, complaints.
Tell us how we look.
Yeah. So do you like the
Should we start doing a theme every week? I don't think so.
Producer Connor is going to be in charge of that.
Send them over to Connor at churchphotographers.com.
Indeed. Cool. And then always, let's jump onto iTunes.
Yep.
Let's leave a 5-star review. Let's leave a nice, kind, courteous piece of encouragement for us. I'm always checking our...
we're going a long ways for you guys.
Yeah.
We're dressing up like elves and reindeer.
Indeed. So it would be endearing to me.
Oh, my goodness. Let's wrap this up.
If you would leave a kind review.
I think I might stay in this for the rest of the day, though. I'm going to walk through the office.
Do we want to wrap up with a couple more puns?
Let's do it.
All right. So... how did Rudolph learn photography?
He was elf-taught.
He was elf-taught. Oh, ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's another nerdy one. This one of the science variety. What is a dinosaur's least favorite reindeer?
No idea.
Comet.
LOL.
Grown. All right, that's all we got time for. We're going to stop insulting your intelligence and your ear holes. Jump on to Church Photographers on Instagram. Check out our giveaway. Get all that content. Get all that free stuff. We want to give it away to you because we love you, and we want to bless you this Christmas season. But anyway, that's all we got time for. I'm Rob.
I'm Connor.
This is
the Church Photographers Podcast.